Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies, the surroundings of our North London allotment, and you join me here on what's quite a grey, sort of slightly grim day actually, a little bit chilly still, so it's certainly not feeling like spring is in the air just yet. But I've got on with a few things, sort of sewn a few bits and bobs that we'll hopefully see in sort of 2 or 3 months. I'll be able to show you in 2 or 3 months when we do one of these videos. But yeah, sown some spinach and chard, some shallots, and also some broad beans. So there's some broad beans already growing, but these will be sort of later on in sort of 2 or 3 months time. So yeah, you know, not too bad a day after all. But while that's all very interesting, of course you didn't tune in to really hear about any of that. I'm pretty sure you tuned in to hear about whiskey. And what is the Allotment Dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it's a Canadian whiskey, and I don't think we've done it in like 150 or so episodes of the Allotment Dram. I don't think we've done a Canadian one. I might be proved wrong, but I can't think of one. And it's the multi-award winning Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. So yeah, launched in 2015, so we're almost 10 years ago now, and you know, won awards like all around the world in various spirits competitions, and you know, literally tried it for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and was very so pleased with it. So I thought I'd do a review. And what can I tell you about Crown Royal? Well, it's a very famous brand, probably the most well known, along with Canadian Club. The most well-known Canadian whiskey brand outside of Canada. And you know, Canadian whiskey really is quite, I have to say, it's quite difficult to find here in the UK. You know, you go to the US or Canada and you see lots of different brands, but here you're really restricted to two, you know, possibly the big two there that I mentioned, Canadian Club and Crown Royal. But also, you know, maybe 1 or 2 sort of craft distillers you see sort of popping up. But other than that, it's really quite sparse. In fact, I got this bottle in when I was in the States, sort of back in October. So anyway, but Crown Royal was, you know, first came out in 1939. So, you know, very old brand actually. And it was actually put together for the visit of King George VI. He was the first ever ruling British monarch to go and visit Canada. So some of the whiskey makers put together this special blend for him and to commemorate this visit. And now, of course, then it grew in popularity. And now it's actually made in a distillery called the Gimli Distillery, which is in the town of Gimli in Manitoba, the province of Manitoba. And just sits on the edge of Lake Winnipeg there, and yeah, it's a big old place. It shows how the brand has grown. You know, they say they've got over 1.5 million barrels of maturing whiskey, you know, sitting on the site there. So, you know, very impressive stats indeed. And you know, very nice brands. We've tried 2 or 3 before, but never the Northern Harvest Rye. So what can I tell you about what's in the bottle here? Well, this is actually 90% rye. This is uses winter rye as well. So winter rye means that it overwinters. So you sow it in the autumn, then it snows and the ground freezes. So it starts to grow, and then it snows, and obviously you get a lot of snow in most parts of Canada. So it needs that, and then once the snow melts and the ground, you know, sort of thaws, then it starts growing again, and it's harvested in the summer. So it's sown in the autumn, it overwinters, and then it's harvested in the summer. And what else can we say? It's 45% or 90 proof if you're into that way of measuring your whiskies. And in the US this cost me $35 US, but if you're looking for it here in the UK, I've seen anything from about £50 up to about £85. Most of it, you know, sort of somewhere in between. So yeah, I feel like I got a bargain by buying it in the States. But anyway, that's probably enough of that. We should probably have a taste. It also comes, you know, very nice sort of decanter type bottle, which you'll see here, and it also comes in a lovely sort of velvet, like cream coloured velvet bag, which I'm going to keep. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So put some stuff in it, but not quite sure what yet. But definitely going to keep it because it's a very nice thing, and it's got the logo and everything sort of on it as well. But I think we should have a taste and see what we've got here. So just pour it out. Lovely golden colour. Look at that. Yeah, just pop that down for a second while we put the cap back on. Let's pop that down. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, sort of vibrant gold colour. Lovely nose, actually. Quite soft. When you say rye whiskey, particularly if you think of American rye whiskies, they tend to be quite big, bold, spicy. This is a bit softer than that. You do have spices, like quite sort of warming baking spices. A bit of gingerbread in there. Sort of vanilla pods as well, lots of vanilla. And some butterscotch, actually. But yeah, very nice. Now let's have a taste. The softness comes through on the palate as well. Then the sort of pepperiness that you sort of expect from a rye, spiciness starts to build sort of in the middle. But yeah, very soft, you know, this sort of butterscotch, toffee, lots of vanilla, those delicate baking spices just sitting underneath. But then you've also got some sort of almondy, almost like marzipan, like sweetened almonds, and some toasted cereals under there as well. And maybe just like a hint of orange. There's something fruity in there, and I'm just trying to. It's maybe like orange peel. There's definitely some like cocktail cherry. You know those bright red cherries. You know, very 1980s thing. But those bright red cherries that you get in a jar that you pop in a cocktail. We're definitely getting that as well. Like maraschino cherries. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, let's have another taste. So delicious. It's easy to see why it's won so many awards, especially at that sort of, forget the UK price, but especially at that sort of $35 price. It's very, very nice, pleasant drinking whiskey. That's really good. All that sort of sweetness with the spiciness. You've then got a little bit more complexity on this sort of second taste. There's a bit of clove, a bit of the white pepper, that sort of gingerbread sort of spice, maybe even like a bit of menthol in there as well. But yeah, very, very impressive, I have to say. And obviously if you're in the US or Canada, you can get this quite easily. I know a few of you watch from over there, so I'll definitely give it a try. And as I say, along with the other Crown Royals that we've tried, very, very impressed. Actually, makes me wonder why, you know, Canadian whiskey isn't more popular sort of outside of North America, really, or why it's so difficult to get for us here in the UK and Europe. But anyway, that's probably about it. Leave you to get on with whatever you were doing before you stumbled across this video. From myself and the Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye, we will bid you farewell, and we'll get on with a few other jobs but before we go home. But yeah, bid you farewell, and we hope to see you again for another Allotment Dram in the very near future. Cheers!